Allô? Je comprends pas. Yeah, it's the first time I'm using this, so if you see me, which could be very much the case, I don't know. I don't see myself. So, oh yeah, I'm here. Okay, so here's the image. All right. Oh, I'm going to remove this back. Well, who knows about the background? That's not really important, the background. You can see a microphone here, at least, or can guess that there is a microphone. Okay, listen. Good morning, everybody. Morning in New York. It's 11:45 a.m. We're going to be together about 20 minutes on this streaming that is totally new, where I'm doing this from Zoom. And the reason being that you can join me. I sent a link on LinkedIn where the streaming is announced. So please feel free to join here on Zoom as a participant. And you will show probably yourself on the screen with your image if you're willing to. And if you're not, you can stay just in the background. The theme is one of my favorite. I have to say the truth. It's one of my favorite indeed. And this is to be under the spotlight. The spotlight is really what leaders have to deal with all the time. It's, as I said, the higher you want to get into the ladder of the hierarchy of your organization, and the more visible you're going to be. I think there's no secret about that. It's a simple, basic awareness that you need to have. When you are going to be a high-level leader, you're going to be visible, and you're going to be even, if sometimes that happens, under the not the spotlight, but also under scrutiny. Sorry, and that's this is indeed the reality that many people sometimes don't realize, and then it's too late when they do, because they've been burned or something happened to them to realize, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was so visible. But it is a series that I'm offering here. It's a series about the unspoken art of leadership exposure. It's the unspoken art of the leadership exposure. This exposure of yours is necessary for you to grow, for your team to exist and have influence in a large organization, or less, or smaller ones. But the point is that organizations have been very complex lately. They became very complex. Multiple reasons for that. But many organizations think it was wise to move into this matrix format that I think doesn't help very much. But I want to mention something extremely important, I think, and very key in individual choices that people make. If you're in an organization, and if you want to prevail in an organization and grow, you need to be always aware that it's not yours. In the fact that you are, unless you're a shareholder and have a majority number of shares, then you're probably a very big stakeholder of your organization. But if you're just an employee, even at a high level and an executive role, you might have a role that has influence. You might be delegated to make a certain number of key decisions, sometimes hard ones, but you're still an employee of the company. So please, remain autonomous in terms of yourself and the choices that you make. Remain the responsible person that you are on this earth, on the planet. Be the father, the husband, the wife, the partner, whatever, and the mother and the father, parents or adoptive parents, whoever you are in your life first, and the choices that you make and responsibilities that you have. I'm not prescriptive here. I'm just saying, be aware that is the core of your life. It is nothing else. Your work, your title, whatever your mission or your profession is not your identity. I'm sorry to say, for so many people who think that it is, this is not. And if I call you doctor, or if I call you professor, and your profession is to be a medical, an MD, a provider, or if it is to be just a teacher, it doesn't mean that your life and your ID, your identity, is those titles and those functions professionally. You make a living doing this, you learn the skills that you have the experience that you carry on with you, but you're totally autonomous. Autonomous means you're within yourself, you own your own destiny, and you make your own decisions. That you depend on an organization, that you have to attend some meetings and you have to report to someone, all of this, of course, exists and is a dependence to some extent, but to a very limited part of the extent. And again, you keep the control of what you say, of what you do, and who you are. And that's what you bring under the spotlight. So the unspoken art of leadership exposure is that what you expose is what you want people to see. Do not forget that. It is how you build your brand. It's how you are a leader. And it's how you are going to shine, if you will, with all the light that you can bring to this world and your essence for what you want to show and what you want to give. And it is usually intentional, and it's also usually directed to a certain, target or a certain goal, and towards a certain goal. And this is the reason why a coach like me has to remind you always, or try to reframe, like we say when you say something, and bring you always back to clarity, to your own clarity, not mine, not my prescription, absolutely not. It's your own, but it's the coach that will bring you to the reality that it is what it is. You are making your own decisions. You are independent. If you go to vote, it's your vote. Unfortunately, many things are influenced, and I don't know where to start with them. I'm about to talk about media and about the influence of propaganda and all of that, especially these days. I have to say it's a topic that makes me extremely sad, because I don't understand how smart people can still believe what they read and what they're told, and completely make it, in fact, their own opinion, because what propaganda does is that. And this is today an amazing phenomena to see that in the smartest spheres of the human world, like academia, even propaganda can have an influence, and people can kind of think what they don't think inside of themselves, and go 100% full speed into things that they don't even believe in. This is unbelievable that people are smart and can do that. This is what, in fact, is intriguing, to the extent that maybe we're going to talk soon about something called like neuromedia, neuro-influence, neuro, because it belongs to the neuroscience to understand how a brain, which is such a bright brain, can take this information and believe in it. This is how anti-Semitism is becoming so much growing in the world and in academia. In academia, right? We never thought that this could have happened, and things of that sort. That people would be pro-Hamas, right, because of the war in Israel, and be pro-Hamas, be on the side of an organization that have demonstrated that they are animals, that they are not, that they are completely wild, completely out of control, and animals, very wild ones, that they can do so much damage. And I can tell you that people can be on their side because they're against something, and that against something that they are, can be Israel, can be the Jews or whatever, is something that they get. And I'm sorry, I will close that bracket right away, but it's something that they get from the outside. It's something, an external influence that comes in, kicks into the brain, and wash it like this, wipe it out. There is no more wisdom there. It's totally influenced by words, by things that the propagandists, who are professional propagandists, the professional promoters of these messages, they know how to bring those things. They know how to bring it and do it slowly but surely, penetrate into those different brains in a way or another, and get them to believe. So imagine, this is really something so worrisome. All right, why do I talk about this? Because I was talking about autonomy. I'm so much for autonomy, right? I'm so much about self-awareness, that people understand their talent, understand their capacity, understand their essence. So it's really a meditation of the moment or of every day. And if it takes even um, if it takes a discipline, a ritual every day to step back, take 5 minutes, take a deep breath, connect to your essence, connect to your core, to your soul, pray. I don't know, whatever spiritual level you have, just to take that spiritual moment and reconnect with yourself. Do not let this external influence or this belief, it's a belief that you depend on something or on a thought or on a leader or on a doctrine of some kind, and follow it blindly. Keep your freedom of choice. Keep your wisdom. Keep your essence. Keep your identity. Remain yourself. In leadership, more than anything else, because you have influence on other people, you have a responsibility on other people. So the series I'm offering here today for the first time on Zoom, using Zoom as my core space, where you're invited to join me. And if you're not today, because it was not announced a long time ago, so there is not maybe yet any knowledge or people coming and join, or you have, or maybe you might be already here and I'm not seeing it because I cannot see everything at the same time. I'm focusing in what I say. This is what I'm trying to do. Is that it's a series, and we're going to go through the series by focusing today on the power of visibility. The next time we'll talk about owning your narrative, and as I just said, you own it. It's your narrative. Then navigating the spotlight means when I'm visible, what do I do about it? Or how am I preparing myself about the spotlight? Because I'm going to be visible. And I have a reason to be visible. If it's a presentation, if it's a public speaking engagement, whatever it is, I have an audience. I'm seen by others. How do I play my role? And how am I going to be influential if I want to have an impact of some kind? If it's selling, if it's pitching, if it's presenting for the first time a new science or a discovery, sharing, communicating, conveying a message. Then the fourth episode will be about balancing act, which is about your authenticity versus your image. So what people see and what in fact is authentic about you. Hopefully they get very close to each other. The fifth one will be about strategic networking, because it's out there in the public space, and create alliances, connecting the dots with people that have something to do with you and interact with them. The number 6 will be beyond the comfort zone. When you need to go out of your comfort zone to become visible, what do you do about it? How do you do it? Then it's about leading through visibility. Being visible, how do you lead? How do you delegate? How do you influence? How do you make decisions? And how do you report and you communicate? And how you want people to report to you and communicate with you, and how to be clear about it. So this is really going to be this kind of journey I'm proposing here in those 6 themes of the series. And I will do this through Zoom. You can absolutely join me here. You will look at the link that I will publish in all the different media channels that I'm using. Those are YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Spotify in terms of the recorded side of it. But you can still see communication through Spotify and all the different things that are related to Spotify, such as Google Podcast or Apple Podcast and all those different channels. I'm working on all of this. It doesn't mean that it's already all there and all available. But today, I'm broadcasting right now and restreaming and streaming on those channels as I speak, from Zoom, simultaneously on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook, and on Spotify. So this is my point I wanted to make today. And forgive me for this little side point I made about the news and about what's going on. But it turns me off when people lose that connection with themselves. It turns me off when external powers take advantage of that. And it turns me off to see powers taking masses of people, making fun of them in the fact that they are followers, they are dumb, and will believe what they are told. And that's what created all the different hatred that we had throughout history. People need to get their independence and their self-awareness that they have a brain that is their own and the choice that is their own, and become autonomous and independent, and not follow blindly any kind of doctrine or ideas that are not theirs, external, and coming with an agenda, usually very evil, in the case that I mentioned and that we see in the news, and can cause so many tragedies and so many horrible things that can touch millions of people, like it did during the Second World War, or like it did on October 7th, touching thousands of people and affecting the whole entire world. And really concerning all the people who think like I do, where it's not an opinion, it's not political, it's just a claim for independence of our own creativity and our own being. That's how we've been created, as individual people with our own choices. And that's why nobody has the right to take this from us. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's a point, because when I talk about the spotlight and leadership, that's what I mentioned also. It's all in a one subject in its own. When you're a leader, you want people around you that have talents, that have the skills and the intention and the ambition to be successful, and they will make you successful. They're not competing against you. And if you like your self-confidence as a leader, and I hear this every day, you might be very short of a good leadership, because you're going to start micromanaging. You're going to start being always suspicious and doubting on people, taking their credits when they are working for you and for the company, and you both are working in the same direction, and you can win through their wins. And it's always a win-win, because the other way doesn't work. And it's all, consistent, and all very consistent. So I hope, and I will conclude this today by inviting everybody to think about these things and to connect to yourself. And when you're going to be, or you are already visible and under the spotlight, to have this full awareness that you have this incredible privilege to share your essence, to give in this world, and to change the world. Because when you are impacting other people as a leader, and you do this positively, and you want people to be successful, it makes you successful. It makes the performance under the spotlight extremely brilliant and extremely inspiring. Leaving you on these words, inviting you to go on my website, www.andrepolitzer.com, to communicate with me, to message me. It's also André@andrepolitzer.com. André@andrepolitzer.com is my email. What did I want to say other than that? Well, to subscribe on YouTube, please. I'm very short of subscriptions on YouTube for multiple reasons. We are not doing much promotion. I don't have much time to dedicate to that. And I still did not build the right team to do so. So there's no much more to say other than it's work in progress, and inviting you to make suggestions, to send your inputs, your insights via email, via your postings, your comments on LinkedIn especially. And tell you from the bottom of my heart that I hope you will join me in this series every week. And I will try to meet you around this time every Tuesday. And when we are, for the series, for the program itself, Change Your World, this is still going to be random, and one day of the week at a certain time of the day, because we try to reach out to the maximum number of our audience, which really audience is all over the world, and in about 5 different or maybe 12 different time zones. Thank you very much for joining us if you did today, and see you soon. Bye.